Hey guys, what's up? Hey, today I want to talk about my Stewmac kit that my daughter got me for Christmas. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I'm going to attempt to do this out in the garage. But the wind is just crazy today. And you may have seen on the weather or reports or whatever, but we hit 109 miles an hour the other day. Just a regular windstorm. Good old windy Wyoming. But hey, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be talking about the neck on my Stewmac guitar kit. So hang around. We'll be right back and we'll get into the neck. Hey guys, welcome back. You may or may not have seen the video before about my Stewmac T-style kit that my daughter bought me for Christmas. I went through it a little bit, but today I want to focus specifically on the neck. I should have documented this, and I had no idea prior that I was actually going to document this, but I was inspired by Ted over at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. And so go over there and take a look at his T-style. Just absolutely stunning, beautiful. And then after seeing his channel, it turned me on to Sparky over at Sparky Guitars and J-Man at J-Man's Gear Cave and Smoke Eater's Guitars. And anyway, you'll find all those guys. I highly suggest you look them up if you're looking for this kind of content. But anyway, I just wanted to go through the neck. I wished I would have documented it, but a little too late to do the right thing now. But at any rate, here's the neck. When it came to me, it had the frets installed. They were vintage style frets, and it was a 12-inch radius. And I happen to like my 9.5-inch radius neck. And so I saw a YouTube video. It was budgetguitars.com YouTube video where he explained taking, it's the same thing. It was a Stewmac T-style, but he took the frets out and re-radiused the neck and shaped it and did all the stuff that he wanted to do. And I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. So quick disclaimer, I'm not a pro. I'm not a professional guitar builder. This is a kit that my daughter bought me, and so I'm trying my hand at it. I've taken guitars apart before and put them back together, things like that, but I've never done any extensive luthier style work on guitars before. So all that to say that this may or may not work, but I'm hoping for the best, and I want it to turn out really well since it was a Christmas present for my daughter. But at any rate, let me walk you through what I did. So I wanted a 9.5-inch radius neck, and I wanted medium jumbo frets. So my first thing was to get rid of all the frets. So I pulled the fret wires out to the best of my ability, and there were a few areas that it chipped the wood a little bit as the fret was coming out, and they tend to do that sometimes, but it was no big deal because if you sand it, you take the sanding dust that's left over, you mix it with CA or super glue, you can fill in those cracks. And there is a way to do that, and I'll get into it in a little bit, but I'll talk about that as well. Anyway, I took all of the frets off. And then I ordered this little guy. It's a 9.5-inch radius sanding block. And I put sandpaper on it, and I sanded the neck to get it to 9.5-inch. Now this was a compound radius, meaning it was 12 up in this area, but then the further down you got, it was about a 10. So it was a compound, and I found that out because the sanding pattern that appeared after I started sanding it to 9.5. Anyway, so I sanded it to a 9.5. And then once it was 9.5, I worked my way up to 400 grit sandpaper, sanding in that same manner with a 9.5 block. Once I reached that, I don't know if you can see them or not, but there's little holes here where when they cut the fret groove, it cuts all the way across the board. So what they did at Stewmac when they fretted this guitar is they cut the tang back a hair and then they filled in those holes. So trying to clean them holes out was kind of a pain. I did go to Hobby Lobby and I found a nice little hobby saw. That was the perfect width for those fret slots. And I could cut those pieces out of the edges with this fret or with this saw. And it worked just fine. It was, I don't know, a couple bucks at Hobby Lobby. Worked just fine. By the way, I wanted to let you guys know that hopefully what I present here, if this helps you in any way when you are doing a guitar, then that's kind of my purpose for this, is to help you out if you choose to do something like this. Perhaps maybe the work that I did will help you out. All right, so anyway, I then ordered this little guy, and down here it's 7.5 or 7.25 to 9.5 to check your depth for your fret wires. And then I ordered Fender medium jumbo fret wires, and they were about yay long. And so I marked them with a magic marker, a permanent marker, not magic marker, a permanent marker, marked it for the width of the board, and then I marked back just a hair for cutting the tangs off. I tried using my side cutters and they didn't work too well. I don't know what this material is, but it's dang near bulletproof. I didn't try bullets, but it was a bear to cut. So I used a Dremel with a little cutoff wheel to cut them off, and man, that was fantastic. It worked slick. And once I hammered the frets in, I found this at Harbor Freight, and it worked really well for cutting the ends of the frets off. So I did that. I cut the ends of the frets off, and that worked just fine for that. The fret ends were a little jagged, and some of them are protruding a little bit. So I found on Amazon this little guy, and you can put it 90 degrees, 3 degrees, 25 degrees, or 35 degrees. So I first did it at 90 degrees, and I went along and cut it at 90 degrees, or filed it at 90 degrees on both sides. Really got that close. And then once it was really close, then I swapped to 35, and I angled it at 35. The frets aren't done. I still have to do the end dressing and that, but then I waited. The next thing I did was I found a Fender Telecaster template for this shape, because when this came, it kind of had a curve, but it was flat along here. It was, and I thought about leaving it, but I wanted some shape. So I cut this shape into it and then sanded it down and rounded it off and that kind of stuff. So I put the shape on there. It made it out pretty decently. And it's not the best. Like I said, I'm not a pro, but it worked pretty good for me. So then with that, then I just started sanding the back of the board. And then I raised the grain with a wet cloth and then sanded the next grit up until I came to, I believe, 800 grit. And yeah. Oh, one other thing I ought to talk about. This nut that was in here was plastic. And I would have left it, no big deal. But I thought, well, I got a couple of bone nuts hanging around that I bought. So let's put a bone nut in there. So I did that. I have a bone nut. I haven't glued it in yet, but. And then one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. After I pulled them fret wires out, you remember I talked about some of the wood grain coming up and coming out. It left kind of, I don't know, holes, if you will. Well, I saw that Stewmac has this material called fret dam. And it's just Teflon, and it's the perfect thickness. So if you cut it, you can put it inside of these fret slots where there was some of that wood that came out. And like I said, after sanding, I collected my sand dust, mixed it with that CA, and filled it in. You'll notice there's a few spots here where it's a little darker. That was from the fill-in. And for some reason, the CA seemed to creep into the wood more. So it appears that, wow, that was a huge gouge in there. No, it wasn't. It was little. But that CA seemed to creep in, and then trying to sand it, it just left a dark color. Now, this neck is horrible. And like I said, I'm not a pro. But this neck, when I got it, the frets were just crazy sharp on the edges. They were bad. The neck itself was dry. It still is dry, but I mean, it was dry. It was horrible. The shape of it, though, really isn't that bad. Like I said, I wanted a 9.5 inch radius. That's just what I prefer. So that's why I did all that. But anyway, I hope that helps you guys out. And I wished I would have documented along with the video way back when I started. But I didn't, and it's a little too late to do the right thing now. But yeah, so I hope that helps you in some way. Going forward, I will be documenting everything else. But I wanted to talk about this neck. I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper, what I did, how I did it. But hey, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that I might be able to help you with going forward, if you're considering a project like this, by all means, put it down in the comments and shout out to me. And again, I'm not a pro, but I'll tell you what I did, help you out as best I can with what knowledge I have on what I've done so far on this neck. But yeah, just give me a shout out if this is the kind of stuff you're into. Hit that like, subscribe. I'll put a link down to Ted on his channel because yeah, without Ted's encouragement, I wouldn't be here today. So this is a huge thank you to Ted, and also I want to thank Sparky, both of you guys for that. And anyhow, it just I can't thank you guys enough. You guys need to go see their channels. But anyhow, you guys inspired me to document this and show this on YouTube. It was your guys's prompting, so to speak, that caused me to do this kind of stuff. But hey, going forward, I need to purchase a fret leveling beam. So once I got the funds, the coins together, I'm going to order a fret leveling beam so I can level these frets, and a crowning file so I can crown these frets after I've leveled them. And then, yeah, polishing them, make them nice and sparkly and stand out. And then once that's done, well, I still also have to finish the back of the neck. And I'm going to do that in clear lacquer. So I'll finish the back of the neck and the headstock. And I've got a little decal that I want to put on here that I designed on a wet or a slip water slide decal paper. But something me and my daughter came up with that I'm going to put on here. And I'll reveal that in the future in one of my future videos. But those are the things I need to do on the neck yet. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on the body. I'll start sanding it and getting it ready for finishing. And I'll document that along the way as well. But hey, that's it for now. Thanks again. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, watching this. If you stuck around this long, I sure appreciate you guys. And hey, go forth today and do great things. And yeah, take pride in your work. And maybe if you're helping somebody else along the way, somebody comes along, I don't know, 5 years later or something and sees this. That's kind of my goal. I hope it helps somebody, and I hope somebody's encouraged by that, because we should be encouraging people every day. But anyway, we'll catch you on the next one. I sure appreciate you guys hanging out and taking a look and everything else that goes on. So take care, guys. We'll talk to you again soon.